clip on the back of my jacket just on my collar. I don't know where else to put it. You just clip it on side. Oh, that's weird. Clip it on my dress, yeah. Then it'll be a little bit lower. I have no pockets. Yeah. That looks a little weird, but that's okay. Oh, and then you know what? There's another button that you need to do to turn it on. It doesn't have a color or anything. It's just like a light. And then it'll turn green once you turn it, push it in. Did it go green? On the top. Okay. Is it green? Yeah. Okay. All right. We will go ahead and get started. I have to remember to wear pockets next time, so I have somewhere to put that. Welcome. Thank you all for coming to our open house orientation for the coordinated program in nutrition and dietetics here at the University of Southern California, the Davis School of Gerontology. And can I start just hearing first name and where you are for undergrad or where you received undergrad degree and what degree? So can we start? Oh, good. And what school are you in? Oh, good. And your name? Oh, nice. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking with you. Thank you for coming. Yes. Okay. Senior undergraduate biology. Do you want to take the mic? Yeah, that would be good. Okay. Thank you. So you're here on campus at USC. Yes. Okay. All right. Not on. William, and he's a returning student. Bachelor. Okay. Thank you. We're going to turn the mic on. Our scuffle this morning is one of our faculty teaching is Dr. David Heber, who's a emeriti professor from UCLA. He's semi-retired from UCLA, and he's teaching micronutrients. He's an MD, PhD, and his career has been in the area of micronutrients. And he's coming in, you may see him, he's coming in to record his lecture because he's traveling for one of the classes. So one of the nice things that we have here for you, even if you're on campus, is all of our classes are delivered distance, and presentations are recorded and posted in Blackboard, which is the operating system we use for classes. So you will always have the class that you attended recorded if you want to go back and look at it a second time or third time, or you don't remember from your notes what you had written down and you want to go back through the presentation. They're always posted. So, yes.
Nikki. I have my undergrad in business, so I'm switching careers.
Okay. And where's your undergrad from?
University of Maryland.
Good. Thank you. Got it.
Hi, my name is Marisol. I went to San Diego State and I have my undergrad in nutrition.
At where?
San Diego State.
Oh, nice. Thank you. And you finished?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
My name is Angie. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry from UCLA. I'm also a returning student.
Oh, nice. Good.
Hi, my name is Saori. I went to UCI. My BA is in International Studies.
Hi, I'm Christina. I was undergrad USC Business.
Thank you. All right. So it sounds like most of you are looking at the coordinated program, which is where you should be if your undergrad degree was not in nutrition and you were not granted a DPD statement, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The coordinated program was set up for those that have degrees in other subject areas and are looking to get into the field of nutrition and dietetics. So let me, there were handouts on the back table as you came in, and I'm going to run through giving you some info about the program, and we'll do a few questions. We may move outside so Dr. Heber can do his recording and answer additional questions. So if you can make note of your questions as I go through the presentation, and we'll do questions at the end, I think will be better. So this program is housed in the School of Gerontology, and the definition of gerontology is the scientific study of biological, psychological, and sociological phenomenon associated with old age and aging. We have researchers here in our school that are not only looking at older adults, but are also looking at the aging process, not only in human studies, but animal studies. And I'll tell you a couple studies in a little bit. We offer a number of degrees at the bachelor's level and the graduate level. This is the newest degree program here in the Davis School of Gerontology. And there is crossover with a couple of the classes that you will be taking with students that are in the other programs. Dietetics, we look at the science or art of applying principles of nutrition to diet. I meet with a lot of students who are looking to do more of health education, and there is a degree program that I encourage people to look at that are more interested in doing health education, and that's the public health route. You can actually get your certification in health education, or CHES, and for that degree, people in that position do much more with health promotion and health education. Dietetics and becoming an RD, we are trained at looking at foods and the management of diets, more specifically, which is why the heavy load of science prereqs that are required for the program. So there are several routes to becoming an RD. Most important is that the Academy is looking at, by 2024, having a master's degree being entry level. Right now, if you were to finish this program, you wouldn't be required to have a master's degree. For people who only have a bachelor's degree, they will likely be grandfathered in, and it will be up to them whether they decide to go back and get a master's degree or not. The two primary routes to becoming a dietitian, the first is the more traditional route. I took that route, and that is at some of the, many of the Cal States here in LA offer what's called a didactic program in dietetics, and it is a 4-year degree program where you complete not only your prereqs but a number of nutrition courses. You're given your DPD certificate, which allows you to then apply for a dietetic internship once you graduate. And there are individuals, many of you, that have a bachelor's degree in another field. You could go the DPD route and work on a master's degree in nutrition dietetics, again, at one of the Cal States or some of the other programs that offer the DPD, and get the master's degree in addition. But then you'd still have your 1-year dietetic internship that you would have to apply for post-master's degree. With the coordinated program, what we do is we have combined, we're requiring that you complete the prereqs before you apply to the program, and those can be completed anywhere as long as you meet the course requirement and the number of units requirement. And once enrolled in the program, you complete not only your master's degree but your internship hours in 2 years. So we've taken one extra application step out of that process. If you're accepted into the program, the only thing that would hold you back from starting your internship hours is we require a minimum of 3.0, a B or higher, in all of your courses that you take your first semester of the program. And that's not uncommon for a master's degree. Most graduate degree, master's degree programs do expect you to have A's and B's academically in a master's program. So our program is the somewhat the non-traditional route. There aren't as many individuals that are going that route as there are the traditional students going the DPD-DI route. So our program that we've set up awards you a Master of Science degree in Nutrition, Health Span, and Longevity. It is a coordinated program. We have included the academic coursework as well as the 1,200 hours of supervised practice or internship that would be required in a dietetic internship. And 46 units is the total number of units, and we've set it up to where it can be completed in 2 years with taking one course and doing some internship hours your first summer of the program. We are accreditation eligible. We are not allowed to say that we are accredited till we've had 2 classes graduate and have another review by the academy. But you all, if you were in the program and graduated, would be able to say that you graduated from an accredited program. So we are accreditation eligible. We will be for probably another 2 years. We have a group that will graduate December 2016 and another group that will graduate spring 2017. So we'll have to wait for those 2 groups to graduate. We have one course that is offered in the first summer, and that's in Genoa, Italy. And it's a course that's highly recommended. We do all the planning for you. We've set it up to keep the costs minimal, as much as traveling out of the country can be minimal. We really encourage you to participate in that course. For those that for one reason or another are not able to, I would work with you to look at another course that's offered that you could take in place of that. In order to apply to the program, we are requiring 40 hours of experience, either paid volunteer or observation, with registered dietitians. And in a minute, I'll tell you a couple different routes that you can do in terms of how do you set that up or where might you look. I would encourage you to look at the USC Graduate School for tuition and application fees. I want to introduce Sade, who is our student services admissions counselor, and Sade is probably has talked to some of you already and can help you through the application process or other resources that you need to connect to on campus. When you apply to the program for the on-campus and distance, you will not be able to flip back and forth to one or the other. We really will not. We don't encourage you to decide, since it's being recorded, that you'd rather just stay at home and watch it versus coming in. We are asking that those that apply for distance be 100 miles or more away from LA in order to apply for the distance component. And we have no set numbers in terms of how many we take on campus versus how many distance. The last group that just started this fall, we have 11 students that are on campus and 4 students that are doing the distance program that are in 4 different states across the U.S. The challenge for the distance students is you need to be set up with some nutrition contacts in your local community in order to be able to set up your supervised practice. I don't have enough connections across the country to take that on, but I definitely will help the distance students to set that up. If you're here on campus, we set all of that up for you. We have your internship rotation set up for you. The core knowledge and competencies are defined by the Academy, and that is in your handout that has a lot of text on the front page. I've given you, I think it's page 7 and 8, is a very long list of the core knowledge and competencies for the registered dietitian as defined by the Academy. These competencies are used whether you're in a DI, a DPD, or a coordinated program. They're the same for all of the different programs, the competencies that need to be met. And our concentration, we needed to pick a specialty area, is health span and longevity, nutrition, health span, and longevity. And it's infused throughout the program, throughout the courses that we teach, throughout opportunities that are available here on campus. And these are our concentration area competencies, translation of research on aging, and incorporating knowledge of nutrient and gene interactions, molecular, biochemical, medication use into the nutrition care plan for those with complex medical conditions. I've already mentioned about the accreditation that we were granted. We had 8 students that were admitted in January only on campus so that we could really figure out how to get the program up and running. They are now in their 2nd semester, or actually the 3rd semester, because they went to Italy over the summer, and they are very involved in working on their internship hours. The prerequisites are pretty extensively defined also in this document, the 10-page document. And what we have added to that list of prerequisites to make it easier for you and for us, the very last page of that handout, you've got an Excel spreadsheet that shows the prerequisites along with giving you room to fill in where you've met those prerequisites, what university or college, when it was taken, how many units. As you can imagine, we get a lot of requests from people that want us to review their transcripts, and this makes it much easier for us to review transcripts versus you all sending us 10 pages of transcripts from lots of different universities. So helps you, helps us. So as you're talking to Sade or anyone here, this document will really help us to have that conversation with you. So a little bit about the 40 hours with a registered dietitian. The purpose of this is really to give you exposure to dietitians and the work that they do. We're not limiting you to the 40 hours, but you need to complete at least 40. One of the other reasons we made this a requirement is the Academy would have required us otherwise to offer a 1-unit course, Careers in Dietetics. So this was our way of letting you complete Careers in Dietetics before actually starting the program. And again, I can help you with that. But one of the things I will tell you, I put this brochure out on the table outside. It's an application form to become a student member of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. It's $50 a year to become a member. Lots of resources through this association. You automatically become a member of the California Dietetic Association, of which CDA, I think they're going to change their name from something other than CDA. Their annual conference will be in the spring in Riverside, which is easy to get to from here. As a student member, your registration fee for that annual conference also is pretty reasonable. The Los Angeles Dietetic Association is a very active group. They're always looking for students to get involved in activities that they have. I think their student membership is $10 for a year, so $60 and you're a member of the Academy, California, and Los Angeles, which connects you with a lot of dietitians. The other area I would encourage you to look at is A&D has what they call practice groups, and they're always looking for students to be involved in practice groups. I am a member of the Healthy Aging practice group. I'm also a member of the Behavioral Health Nutrition practice group and Nutrition Educators. And I have been in national offices I've held with those groups. And it's been a nice way for me also to connect with my colleagues across the country. So that's one way that you can connect with dietitians and get involved. And this is what we just covered. So joining, looking in your community, whether it be a community program, a hospital. Hospitals are a little more challenging because of HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, and being able to gain access to a hospital. You're probably better able to access dietitians that work in the community, whether it's for WIC or a Head Start program. The county health department, there are a number of obesity programs. Sayori has been working with me up at Children's Hospital with an obesity group that we run for parents and kids. And while it's in the hospital, it's in an outpatient setting, so we don't quite have the same HIPAA constraints that we would have otherwise. In terms of applicant selection, we look at your academic potential. We require a GPA of at least 3.0, and we also look at your experience references and your career goals. We request additional information that you would submit with your application, including a resume, your statement of interest, and 2 letters of reference. The committee would prefer looking at an academic reference and a work reference. I would encourage you to make sure that those are references that know you fairly well versus somebody that you've only known for a semester. So even if you have to go back a couple years to someone who can really speak about what your skill set is, you want those letters to be good letters, and not so-and-so was in my class in the spring of 2014 and she was a good student. Those aren't the strongest letters. So somebody that knows you and knows your skill set. Documenting the 40 hours. We do not require a GRE, and we may require interviews for highest ranking applicants if we feel that we need to use that as part of our decision process. In terms of graduation, 46 units, 28 of those units are required courses, 12 units are supervised practice, and 6 units are research. We do not require a thesis. We do not require an oral exam. We have a unique requirement in that we are asking you to publish or present your topic of interest, and it's pretty wide open. We start in semester 1 talking about what are you interested in. We have a woman who's very interested in traumatic brain injury and concussions and omega-3s and how they relate to brain concussions, and she has followed that through where she's had to do presentations or papers or other things, and she is still trying to figure out where she wants to go with that, but it's an area she's interested in. We have a student who is very interested in bone health in women who are postmenopausal, and so we were just at the annual Academy of Nutrition Dietetics conference, and I sat with her at a presentation of someone talking about calcium and bone density, and she was so excited to meet this researcher that's working in a national office doing bone research. So either presenting your work at a state or national dietetics conference, a poster is fine, an oral presentation is fine, or submitting what you have put together in a peer-reviewed publication. It could be one of these academy practice groups. The Healthy Aging Practice Group is always looking for articles, and they are considered peer review. So if it's a topic that you're wanting to write on, it's our way of meeting what you ought to be walking away with as you leave a master's degree program where you have an area of expertise that you've spent time thinking about, researching, synthesizing, and pulling together. We have a lot of supervised practice sites that are set up heavily here at USC. We're very fortunate that we are partnering with USC Hospital, Norris Cancer, LIC USC, which is the county hospital, Children's Hospital, also affiliated with USC. Here on campus, the students have completed their food service management hours with hospitality services here at USC. And we also are working with a dietitian in the Engman Health Center who does outpatient nutrition with students here on campus. And there are now more. There are now 4 dietitians that are working with the athletic teams here at USC. So we work with them also. In the community, working with Head Start programs, public schools, also dietitians working in private practice, long-term care, memory centers, skilled nursing facilities, and throughout the county, some of the obesity programs that are out there. I'm happy to work with any of you that have connections in your own community and want to talk with a dietitian that you've been working with that might be willing to take you, maybe others, but we'll work on it just for you if you've got somebody that would be willing to let you do some of your hours. We have students that have done that, and it's worked well. In terms of the supervised practice rotations, I did not bring my 1,000-page manual. We have signed up with the Academy to be a pilot site, which is now being phased out and probably soon will not be a pilot anymore, the Academy has put together for supervised practice guidelines for each of these 9 rotations that clearly delineate what needs to happen in those rotations. Many of the older coordinated program, dietetic internship programs over the years have put their own supervised practice rotations together based on the competencies, and they haven't always included a lot of written guidelines of what needs to happen in that rotation. So this manual that the Academy has been involved in putting together is very succinct in terms of what observations, what skills need to be gained during those specific rotations. So we have now been using that for a couple semesters, and I'm happy with the program. It's very nicely structured in terms of what needs to be accomplished. So the on-campus versus distance students, I mentioned earlier, you need to be enrolled in one or the other. The distance students 100 miles or more away. On campus, supervised practice, I schedule that for here. Distance students are required to provide evidence right before they start, after they've been accepted, but before they start the program. I will need to see evidence that they have set up rotations for their first year for their safety and for our safety, so that we know that they're ready to go. So in terms of on-campus versus distance, the classes are scheduled. I've given you that in your 10-page document. They are recorded live. We encourage the distance students to participate in our live presentations synchronously, but they also may participate asynchronous. Classes with lab experience for distance students need to be completed within their own community, and in some cases video recorded for those that are here on campus. We use Blackboard for communication and many of our exams. For the distance students, we will require and we will have a system in place to proctor final exams for classes. A little bit about faculty in the news. Walter Longo, who is one of our full professors who is doing a lot of research in this area of nutrition. Many publications. His area he's looking at is fasting and calorie restriction. He's also been working, looking at individuals with cancer and the use of fasting or calorie restriction prior to chemotherapy and outcomes, chemotherapy outcomes. Sean Curran is doing a lot of work with C. elegans, which is a little tiny baby worm, and he is looking at different diets, various diets in these worms and the aging process. So many researchers, in addition to these two, that are doing work here. Partial list of our faculty. I was so happy, David, to add your name to our list. Can I introduce you real quick? Come down because we're recording. We are so thrilled to have Dr. David Heber teaching micronutrients, and he is world-renowned and has spent his career in the area of nutrition and micronutrients, and he will hopefully for years to come be teaching that class for us.
Yeah, I'm having a great time here. Actually, the course is tremendous. We use a very good textbook in advanced nutrition and metabolism. It's a true graduate course that actually goes behind the headlines. In many cases, I'm giving a very exciting lecture today, which I'm recording. I record some of my lectures because of my international travel, but today's lecture actually is going to go into a lot of the antioxidant enzymes in the cells and some of the trace minerals related to those in the mitochondria, oxidant stress, and things that are critical to aging, things like the origin of cataracts and other age-related diseases. So we have a wonderful curriculum. When you emerge from this, you're going to know much more than the average dietitian out there, and you're going to be able to see behind the headlines what's really going on in nutrition, and an exciting view into one of the best places to do gerontology research is right here at USC. So I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. That was a great endorsement, David. All right. So applications are due January 2016 for fall 2015 enrollment, and we hope to send out notifications by April 1st. You are welcome to submit your application now, but we will look at all applications together. Getting your application in early doesn't necessarily earn you extra points. So get your application in when it works best for you. For transcripts, we will need to see all transcripts for prereqs as well as confirmation of your undergraduate degree. And those need to be sent to Jim DeVera, and his address is listed here. He actually will keep all of those, put those in a file for you. So send those to Jim, don't send them to me. Additional information, I've given you this handout, and it's got Sami Sun is another one of our admissions counselors that is available, Sade, and my name there at the bottom. And I'm also happy to put you in touch with current students that are enrolled in the program if that's something that would be helpful for you to talk with a current student. They're happy to talk to you all. And I just wanted to show you these 3 photos. So the photo in the middle, is we all were so very fortunate. All of the first cohort students were able to complete internship hours and be involved in the Special Olympics World Games. It was pretty incredible. We all had at least 2 or 3 8-hour days, and Special Olympics does more health promotion, kind of nutrition awareness, and we were involved in height weight measures. We were involved in talking about what's good nutrition, and many of the students that you see in the picture have second languages, and they were so excited to be able to use their second languages. We had Hebrew, we had German, we had Chinese, Korean, Spanish, so it was a great experience. The woman that's standing in the middle, we also had the opportunity to host a reception for Evelyn Creighton, who is the current president of the Academy of Nutrition Dietetics. So we did a little morning breakfast reception for Evelyn out front here. The other photo that you see down in the left corner, one of our Cohort 1 students lives in a community that has somewhat of an isolated beach area, and we all got together before school started up in August, Cohort 1 and Cohort 2, and had a little barbecue and spent time getting together. We're thinking we want to do that every year as we can. And then the other picture on the far right is Dr. Longo with students from the 2014-2015 cohort in Italy. This is actually at the end of their course that Dr. Longo taught in Italy. They look very happy considering his course, I'm told, is pretty tough. It's probably because they had finished their final at this point. So as you can see, it's a good group, a diverse group. I think that was all I wanted to cover in terms of an overview. Let me see where we are time-wise. Let's take, can you hold specific questions and we'll go outside? Let's take 3 or 4 kind of bigger questions that you think others might be interested in, and then hold your specific questions, and I'll meet with you outside so David can do his recording. Does anybody have big? We're just going to do a couple questions, David, and then we'll be done.
How many applicants you guys have been getting? And
that was a good question.
What's the acceptance rate?
We had, last year we had, I think it was between 32 and 35 applicants, and we accepted 15. I'll tell you, some of the applicants didn't have the background, or their GPA wasn't where it needed to be. So I would say competitive applicants, we probably had somewhere between 28 and 30, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Sade's saying that we're on the website. We do get a lot of inquiries. In fact, I would say we get probably 5 inquiries a week. you know what? I encourage you to look around and look for the best program that meets your needs. I would say probably maybe a quarter of the people that we talk to, actually we would get an application from them. So many people are looking around and looking at what's out there and looking at what the programs offer. Ultimately, you want to be where you're going to get the best skill set for what it is that you hope to do job-wise. So, yeah. Other questions? Mm-hmm.
Are we allowed to apply? Are we allowed to apply if we're still completing prerequisites?
Yes, yes. So the question was, can you still apply if you're completing prerequisites? At some point in the future, we may not allow that anymore, but for this year, for the January application date, we are fine with you completing prerequisites. And in fact, I'll tell you what happened last year. In fact, you made me think of some of the people. There were three people that applied last year that we asked them to please continue to work on their prereqs and reapply, because they had too many prereqs that were still outstanding. If you finished everything but maybe one or two prereqs that you're going to do between January and July, you'd be okay. But anything more than that, we had individuals that had at least 3 or 4 prereqs that they still needed to do as of like January, which was just too much.
If you choose to do the online option and say you're having a difficult time finding a preceptor for the clinical option, would you be able to come down here and get that covered through the school affiliation?
Oops. Yeah, that's a good question. It's about the clinical. My experience is the clinical is the hardest to find. I have told students to go outside the more populated areas. I think a place, even I am having a challenge here in LA because there are so many other dietetic programs with the clinical especially. And what I've told students that are doing distance programs, where do you know people that you can go live with for a couple of months? A student that I've been talking with, she has family in Palm Springs. And I said, go knock on the door at the hospitals out in Palm Springs. They'd probably love to have somebody come work with those dietitians because you're not competing with other programs out there. I probably would want to help you work with your area where you are versus coming back here, only because as of right now, because we're a new program, we're at a point where I don't know that we're going to build our program until we can guarantee that we've got enough internship spots. And again, the clinical is the hardest area. So, all right, I think we will wrap it up. I will be happy to answer questions outside. For those of you online, be sure to email us questions that you have so that we can get back to you with answers. Thank you so much.